Welcome to Player Spotlight, episode 7 with Pipsqueak. I'm not gonna say any of your nicknames. I wanted to say your nicknames, but those are rude. Don't
I have
give
good
them
ones
nicknames.
too.
Blipsqueak. What else?
Like I have Pip.
Pip.
You know, like I also have there really is only
Blipsqueak and Pip.
There really is only Shitsqueak, huh? Yeah, you're right.
And Nip, Slip, and all the other ones, the secret ones. Don't talk about those. Stockholm's premier
Nerd.
nerd. No, but upcoming Fox player that isn't Leffen.
Upcoming?
Upcoming. I guess he's come up. He has risen. The arisen Fox player.
Yeah, I am also an undead in World of Warcraft. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Forsaken.
Fits my persona well. Yeah.
So since you haven't been on the cast for a bit, the format is basically you come over and you play unranked, and
I just play on ranked. Cool.
Yeah, and I ask you a bunch of questions about your life, melee related and sometimes otherwise, depending on where the discussion goes.
Okay.
But it's just talking, basically.
Dope.
And I have some basic, outlines, so I'll be looking at my phone every now and then, and it's not because I'm disrespectful, it's because I have notes.
That is completely fine. If I look at a phone, if I see someone look at a phone, I don't immediately go, oh no, this person hates me. Especially when it's someone I know. It's completely okay.
I usually hate people just by looking at them.
Yeah, same.
Anyway, the first question I usually ask people is not actually Smash related.
Okay.
It is Smash or was Smash your first competitive experience?
Nope. For me, it started with... Actually, it depends on how far away we go. Because I started taking gaming seriously with Counter-Strike, what's it called? Counter-Strike Source.
Yeah.
And I was 8. No, I was more. I was 10 when I started, and I played that, and then I kept going into CS:GO when that came out, and as soon as I found Melee, I essentially quit that straight up. But before then, I've been playing those games pretty much every day. I also did what's it called, Heroes of New Earth, if you know what game that is.
Yeah, home.
Yes, and then I basically stopped playing all those games when I realized I hate teammates. I very much like being accountable, for losing or winning.
Every game, yeah.
Yeah, and every time you play a team game, you just go, wait a second, was it my fault or was it my teammates being bad, or was it? That's not good. That's not bad. Or that was not good.
Pretty cool. But yeah, I understand what you mean. It's there's another feeling that you are 100% responsible at all times. You don't have to start questioning whether or not your teammates could have played something better, and play the entire community. Because I played a bunch of League before I started Smash, and sometimes it is a skill in solo queue to be able to communicate properly, and it's a very valuable skill, which is nonsense actually when you think about it. Being able to ping well, what the fuck does that mean? But it's really important.
It is. It's also, I happen to have a window into this because I talk a lot with Prison. And at the moment, he's in a very much hate and very little love relationship with the current season of League.
Yeah.
And it's really funny to see him DM me, and he goes, so I pinged 800 times here, and then they go jungle diff. And I'm wait a second, I haven't done anything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's bad, and sometimes you just lose. League has a bunch of and a lot of those games that have teammates have a bunch of statistical losses. And what I mean by that is that on average, you will a lot of the time just get teammates that make it so you can't really win.
Yes, exactly.
And that's a part of solo queue, and that's a part of it. Because if you play enough, you will still become higher elo. But you cannot win every single game in the similar way that you could in Melee, where if you're better than the opponent, you'll just win every time.
Yes.
But in League, you can have, and Home and all those, you can have teammates that just feed.
Exactly. I know yesterday he actually posted an example of this where he said he was playing a scaling champ and the opponent mid was playing a like really good early game champ and his jungle so first of all his jungle died to the opponent mid and he was like, okay, fine, I guess I'll just play like far back, right, and farm for a bit. Then he has to back to base, and he backs, and then when he comes back, jungle is cleared mid, all the way to the other mid's tower, so he can't farm, so then he didn't get to play the game at all, and then they just like lost like 5 minutes in effectively without him having to...
just froze there?
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. No, it's awful. Sometimes people just do stupid shit and don't realize what they've done.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you say you discovered Melee, I want you to take me on that journey. Tell me how you actually found Melee.
So it was actually very simple. First of all, I did grow up with it. So I played it as a kid with my big brother. He would beat me a lot and I'd be mad. And then I eventually spent a little bit of time when I was like 8 and figured out some Sheik strategy with Sheik. And then I never lost again. But beyond that, the actual like discovery aspect was just at my school there was a guy who was really bored and he was like, wait, you can play Melee on an emulator. This is sick. So he was like, does anyone want to play during recess? So that's what we did. We just played for like a what was it, like a week, and then at the end of that week, he was like, wait, there's actually like a tournament in Stockholm.
Yeah.
So I went like on my first week, and all my friends that like had started playing on recess, we all went at the same time. And
because I remember you came with some people at first when you came.
Yes, and then they never came back.
Yeah.
And I was the only one who came back, but I just kept playing every week.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the journey. I started with. So first at school I started with Sheik because I realized you didn't have to L cancel, you didn't have to do anything, you just F tilted and what's it called, and like fared and you beat everyone.
Yeah.
Then I realized that pressing buttons was fun, so I was also a little bit hipster, so I picked up Yoshi and then I got mad when I realized I couldn't shield. And then I picked up Falco, and then after I picked up Falco I played one game of Anfer's Ladder, like ranked, and I matched into another Falco, and this Falco said, "You're so bad, you should pick an easier character. Like, oh my god, you don't deserve to play Falco." And then I switched to Fox, and since then I've played Fox.
I think it's so funny that the one guy on Anfer's Ladder altered the entirety of Pipsqueak's destiny.
Yeah, it really did.
Because he flamed you.
Yeah, he did. And I also realized after a while that Fox I thought was more fun, but it was really foddy the first while. I think a big part of it was just we had so many fucking Falcos in Stockholm. It was you, it was Kalkorv, there was like 7.
Yeah, we had me, Kalkorv, we had Tenva at the time, Vedbod.
Yeah.
Squarecog played Falco.
Oh yeah.
There were more as well. I just can't remember them because there were so many. Gillian, yeah. There were more. There were more.
Yeah.
I just don't remember.
So I just said fuck it.
Kladdkaka, Humpe, Flippy, Pepito.
Oh yeah, Pepito as well.
Yeah. Sing. Jesus Christ, dude. We've had a lot of birds. Yeah, it's true. So you were like, yeah, fuck it, I'll play the good guy.
I'll do something new and interesting by playing the most common character in the game.
Well, in Stockholm it was. I want to bring you back though to your childhood. Was your childhood strategy when playing against your brother to pick Sheik and F-tilt and fair him?
So that was... No, that was something I discovered like at the very tail end of it. My initial strategy was to, because C-stick was cheating, right? Yeah. So my initial strategy was to pick Fox.
It was cheating, by the way. Everyone knows.
Yeah. I didn't think it was cheating. It's just my brother did.
I did. Fuck that.
My brother thought it was cheating.
How old is your brother? Maybe we're in the same generation of C-stick is cheating.
He's 11 years older than me. So
okay,
he's,
never mind.
He's like
boomer.
Yeah, he's like 20. No, he's like 31 now.
Yeah.
So I play him, and I pick Fox and I side B, and he can't react. So even then, I beat people because they couldn't react, just like I do now.
So you did play Fox as a youngin.
Yes, I thought the side B was unbeatable. I thought it was completely broken.
And recently, Levingi has been implementing side B in just that way.
The better side B,
That's
but also, I don't think that's the thing I want to take from his gameplay.
You should take credit for it. You should tell him, I invented this in 2003.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd agree.
I actually saw this when I was visiting Pipsqueak in his childhood home.
He just makes a pilgrimage. It's like the three wise men. It's just visiting Jesus when he's born. That's Levingi visiting me in fucking 2003.
I think that's what the players, because back then he was Neutroni, right?
Yes.
And he just traveled. I think that's what the players did to get good back then. They traveled to various people's homes and they play against their kid brothers and took the strategy from them. I think that's natural. That's how it went. I think Yadda has done a lot of that.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, except Yadda, no, he comes there and he says no words. He just watches. He just watches silently. It's reflected in his game plan as well, because he sits on the top flat and just needles, and it's really good. But not top flat, side flat. But it's really good. It's just very, very like memeable.
World famous Pipsqueak. I want to shout out everyone in the chat for coming. Thanks for being here. We're talking about childhood stories of Pipsqueak discovering Melee in his adolescence and rediscovering it again when he became almost a young adult. Almost. You were like 17, right? Or
Yes,
something?
I was 16, I think, when I started.
Yeah. And you found it. Had you seen, because your friends played during recess,
Yeah.
but had you seen any Melee related content other than just you guys playing?
No, so what happened was I probably wouldn't have found it on my own, but the guy who came with like the emulator or you know, set it up so we could play during recess. He had an adapter and everything.
Yeah.
He told me to watch the documentary. So I did, and from there I like rediscovered, or I discovered the competitive scene. So like that was the main reason I went to the tournament, because I saw that and thought it looked really cool. I also watched like Alephan set, and then I heard that he was in Stockholm, and for some reason I thought that if I go, then obviously my first set is gonna be against him, because I'll be last seed. And of course he wasn't there, because there's no point.
He was never there.
There's no point for him to go to locals.
Yeah.
So that was something. I just went there expecting to play him since I would be last seed, and then it took like a solid like 2.5 years until I got to play him or something like that.
Yeah. Do you remember your first tournament experience in like a local?
Yeah, I remember getting incredibly blipped by Flippy for like 3 locals straight, and I just thought that it was literally unbeatable.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you possibly deal with someone who multi-shines your shield? And
he's so good. Everyone, not everyone, but I also had a period. I think every Spacey main has a period when they come to SU and they're like, how the fuck do you beat Flippy? He must be one of the best players here. Because he destroys you.
Yeah, he does!
And I was like, oh shit, he's so good. And then I went to like a foul smash fest and I talked to Davey about Flippy, and shout out to Flippy in the chat, by the way. I'm sorry for telling this, but he said like, what, you're having trouble with Flippy? He's not that good. You just pick Marth and F smash. I was like,
ahead of his time, because that is the strategy. Not just against Flippy, it's against me, it's against everyone.
Yeah. Sadly, to this day, every Spacey will lose to a Marth the F smashes.
Fun fact, the Valhalla online that I ended up winning, I actually lost my first game to Aiken, who like free-stocked me on Pokemon, and it wasn't even close. It's like so bad that I was like, there's no way I'm even like, I have a -7% chance of winning, coming out of my pool first, right?
Yeah.
I switched to Sheik, and I play shit, like my punch game is bad.
Yeah.
He can't kill me. I lived to like 200%.
Yeah, you can't die Sheik in that matchup.
And then and then I ended up like pretty easily cruising afterwards.
Yeah.
Like my hardest match before Leffen was actually a Game & Watch main, which was very weird. He like took me to last stock every game, and I just sat there and was like, huh, this wasn't what I expected.
Did you play anyone else except Pipsqueak? I guess so. That was kind of a rhetorical. Unless you DQ'd yourself after losing the Pipsqueak, Flippy, rather.
So I know I played you very frequently, but I don't know if I did at my first tournament. I know I played, what's it called? I played Sprak. Who did I play? Oh yeah, I remember first tournament, Dady was there. So I think I played Dady round 1, and then in losers I played Flippy. So
that makes sense.
Those are the 2 matches I remember there.
Yeah. How did you like the experience of the local overall, though? Because now we talked about gameplay and stuff like that. Did you feel like you liked the community or whatever?
I did. I felt very stressed in that I didn't feel like I had the social skills. I felt like I had to fit in. I hadn't done anything to like, you know, deserve it. I knew no one there.
Yeah.
So I was very like stressed out because I'm not a very social person by myself. I'm like I'm very similar to Leffen in that if I don't know anyone somewhere, I'd rather just like fucking sit on my phone in the corner. And it was very weird to it was very weird to go to the local and like try and get to know people. But as soon as I did, I found it really enjoyable. It was just the initial struggle was hard.
But what made you come back then? It was like, socially it was kind of stressful, you got fucking destroyed. What made you like, oh, I want to come back to this fucking place?
The fact that I'm an incredibly competitive person, and when I got destroyed, I was basically saying, fuck this, I want to beat all these fuckers, they can't be that good.
Yeah.
I can be better than them, and then I just kept going. I was mostly that. I remember my earliest rivalry was just I wanted to beat Flippy. Like I wasn't sure if I was going to keep playing afterwards, but I really wanted to get at least 1 win versus Flippy. And then I remember I lost to your Falco. I saw it like, what was it? 3 times?
It was a lot of times, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 3 times in a row, I remember.
Yeah.
And I was just like, first of all, I remember my mentality, not the best thing back then. I was just like, all you do is up tilt. All you do is up tilt F smash. It's the easiest brain dead combo in the universe. What are you doing? This is broken.
I remember you literally paused in the middle of a session on that play and you were like, what the fuck do I do against up tilt? This is so broken. All you do is up tilt. And I'm like, dude, I would just grab it or something. I don't know.
I was sitting there, I was so confused. I didn't know what to do. So after that, I think I was pretty much doomed because I really wanted to beat you. I didn't want to let the up tilt spammer come up.
Lord, please. Please, I am a lord.
I didn't want you to come out ahead.
Yeah.
So I just went, I gotta beat you, and then I after that point I think I hit power ranking pretty fast. So I was like, okay, I'm power ranked now. I want to get first, right? So it was a new goal every time.
Yeah, I feel like it is a little known fact that I was very good against Fox, and it was only because Fox players' only game plan was try to full hop around Falco, and I just up tilt anti-aired, and it was like, or they didn't know how to dash grab it. I remember I had a, never mind, I'll save that story for another time.
Okay.
I'll just say that I had a lot of foxes who didn't like to play against me. That I can tell you. Back to actually your improvement though. You said you got power ranked recently afterwards, or after like starting to beat me. Do you remember your first power rank placing?
I do, but not because I remember it, because I saw it on the Liquipedia article.
Yeah.
And I think it was something like 14th, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Was that the Pokemon one? Was that the first one for you?
I think so. I think so, yeah. I'm not 100% sure.
Because I remember I was on the panel for the Pokemon one at least, and we had to choose your Pokemon abilities, and I think we gave growth and something else.
Yeah.
Because you had because you had improved a lot in a short time.
Yeah.
So I think it was that. Because I don't think we would put growth unless it was your first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The big thing was just I remember I jumped up like a solid 4 spots every power ranking. So it could have been the second one as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was anything after that.
Yeah. No, it could be. But do you remember at the time, because you mentioned that Flippy was your first rival, and then you tried to beat me. Are you did you have rivals even after that? Are you a rival-oriented player, I guess?
So it was mostly that I really wanted to consistently beat Brock so that I could beat Daily as well, because I'd taken Daily close, but I generally didn't actually take sets.
Yeah.
And then so I saw that as a bit of a rivalry, but after that point I don't think I ever had a proper rivalry. It was mostly just at the start before I really learned the game to the point that my goal stopped being better results and started being wanting to play my vision of melee. Because now it's I have a very clear image of what I think correct gameplay looks like and correct punish and what good melee looks like.
Yeah.
And my goal now isn't to hit number 1 in the world or number 1 in Europe or anything like that. It's to play more correct melee than anyone else, right?
Yeah.
So no, after that point I think I stopped mostly having rivals. I was also really sad because I looked at you as a rival, but when you switched mains, it took a while for you to get back up to speed, right?
Yeah.
So that was a little bit discouraging in terms of that. I didn't see a point in investing myself in other people's successes as a metric for my own success. I mostly felt that I know what I want to play, I know how I want that to look like. I'd rather just focus on that.
Yeah, but it's true also that I feel like you definitely had come ahead of me at the point where I switched main, because there was one thing that I could play close in sets between you and I or whatever, but in comparison of overall results, you definitely had better results. Case in point, you power ranked when I didn't. I didn't get my first power ranking until I had switched to Yoshi. So in that sense, I feel like it was still results wise, you were probably clearly better than me.
Yeah, it was mostly I didn't really care about the results that much. I mostly just had the thing that I wanted to beat you, and I got sad that I never got the chance to feel like I figured it out, because a lot of it is when there's a thing I lose to, it's very nice to just expose yourself to it continuously, so you can learn how to beat it. So at first I was really annoyed by how you played, but eventually I mostly saw it as okay, I want to figure out how this works and why it's good and what I should do to beat it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jumping from rivalries to and from local power rankings to overall larger tournaments, what was your first major?
It was so the first big tournament I went to was Ascension, I think it was called. The one where I beat what's it called? I beat Monio, I remember.
Oh yeah.
And Rocky. I didn't even know who Rocky was at the point. I just played Rocky and everyone said he was amazing and I had no idea, and I think I did better because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
I remember him being really mad. And then that didn't really count as a major because it was just
he was
Sweden.
Swedish.
Yeah, it was the Swedish what's it even called? It's like a
National.
yeah, national, exactly. So I played there, and then I think the first big one it's not Phoenix Blue, Valhalla 1, I think.
Yeah. So you never traveled to any of the beasts or any of that?
Nope. I never had an opportunity. I didn't have the money at the age I was at,
Yeah.
so I just what's it called? I ended up what's it called? Only traveling once I was good enough that I didn't feel like I 100% like was gonna lose everything I put in there. I wanted to like actually feel like I had a shot at not making it back, but not, you know,
actually making the investment worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. How did you feel like your first major experience was?
I thought it was good, but I was annoyed because I played, I think, Leffen for the first time, and I got so schmacked. It was insanely bad. And then I think I got upset in pools because they seeded me based on Ascension, and I think Ascension was a overperformance and not the new standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the.
Do you remember who you lost to?
So Leffen in winners, I remember, and then I think I lost to. I think it was a marth. I think it was like Ekim or something.
In pools or in bracket?
In bracket, I think I made it out, but I made it out like third when I was seeded first or second.
Yeah. Who was the in pools then? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
It was just some person you didn't know.
Yeah, it was probably someone from like outside Sweden, because I know it wasn't someone I recognized.
Yeah.
Leffen and Fau at Valhalla 1? Okay. So I lost to Leffen in winners and then Fau and losers, I suppose. Oh yeah, and I remember I was so sad because I'd started to like take sets, I think, at locals. So I felt like, I think I started doing pretty well versus Fau, so I really wanted to have that reflect in the outside result. And I remember I underestimated him severely, and I was like, I'm good against ICs, this will be fine. And then he beat me, and I remember I mostly I felt disappointed that I hadn't taken it as seriously as I should. And I felt like if I had a better mentality, I would have probably done better. So I was really disappointed after Valhalla 1, I remember.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And it's also fucking sour to go abroad and lose to two people literally in your region. Not that Leffen actually plays, but still, he is from Stockholm.
Yes. Kinda sucks.
Do you remember your first, not tournament entry, but your first tournament win?
Definitely a local, if you count that. But I don't remember the first one. I think a big reason is because I started beating Dady at locals. I started beating Fau at locals where Dady wasn't at. And I remember distinctly feeling like these don't count because Dady isn't here, right? And then I beat Dady, and I remember thinking these don't count because Leffen isn't here.
Yeah.
And then I think I never won an offline like big event. I don't think I've had that opportunity yet. I've won a ton of like what's it called, like net play events now, but I don't think I ever won a offline national or.
That's true. You haven't, since you got good enough to probably do it, there haven't been any nationals really.
Yeah.
Because like Dady had a bunch of trips where he like won like, well, smaller like Descension type things. I don't think he won Descension, but you know what I mean. He won like smaller national type tournaments a bit everywhere.
Yes.
So like you haven't gotten the chance to just go around and win shit.
No, I really haven't. Not that I mind that much, because for me, I think it's very boring when I feel like I'm the favor and I'm not threatened to lose. So like I really enjoy tournaments where I feel like it's up in the air who's like first or second. It's like 50-50 who wins. But I really dislike tournaments where it's like I'm 90% likely to win because then it's like then it feels like shit if you lose, and if you win, it's expected. But like, I think it's really funny because I went to locals, right, and I got really dominant versus Deity and Foul, and I remember thinking, these aren't fun if Red Blaze isn't here. Yeah. Because Red Blaze had a like better record versus me than Deity and Foul. Yeah. So at that point I was just like, if he isn't there, I don't really enjoy locals because they're not engaging. Yeah.
No, I get that, and I feel like that's the.
Oh yeah, I won Vival this summer. That's true. I did win one big event.
Was that the Norwegian one?
Yes, that was the one I beat Prisant at. It was really funny because I got so unbelievably lucky. Our first set was like legit, and then in Grands, I remember he was up 3 stocks to 1 on FD. And then he misses 3 ledge dashes, and then I up Shin grab him and kill him on the last one. And he like ledge dashed at 0. And then from there it's game 5 last hit, and he 3-0'd me before the reset, I remember.
Yeah. So did you feel like he lost it rather than you won it?
Yes and no. The ending was so climactic that I felt like it was earned anyways. Yeah. But outside of that, no, I definitely felt like it was a bit of a rip. I remember like almost fucking fainting on the stage because
You did a whiz row?
Yeah, I did.
And recently a hungry box.
Yeah, that too. I didn't do the exaggerated scream. Yeah. I wish I did. I wish I had the power to pull.
Fucking fuck!
I wish I had the power to pull off a hungry box pop off.
Yeah, we all do.
What's he doing?
How did it feel to win your first, I guess it's a major. It's not a national because other people were there, but it wasn't like as big as a major. It's in between, whatever you would call it. What was the feeling like after winning?
Really good. I was so happy I got it. I didn't expect to. And I remember I had so many scares because I remember I almost lost to Deity in winners, and then it was like last hit versus Prisant, and then the fact that he like 3-0'd me before the reset made me like super expect to lose. But there were some people who I guess like there wasn't just Prisant. I played Deity, I played Sverige, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And overall, I was just. It was the first time I actually like felt like I achieved something I set out to do, and also I had fun story. My most like formative melee experience was probably when I played Prisant for the first time, because he was so much faster than me and just had such a better punish game that he. I think he free-stocked me like continuously for like 2 hours straight, and I'm like, this is impossible to play against. What do I do? Where do I even begin, right? He was just better in every category. Yeah. So feeling like I'd closed that gap was an amazing feeling. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. A lot of players have that, like, where they play against a person and they're just obviously so much better than you in every category that you feel so outclassed, but like it's almost hard to even imagine yourself beating them.
Yeah, that was exactly what he was for me.
Yeah.
The big thing was just that he'd taken a ton of stuff from like Leffen, and I hadn't, so he just did a lot of correct stuff that I wasn't doing yet. Yeah. Which now I appreciate it, because he was a big catalyst to me becoming way better in the Ditto. And I remember I'd lost to Solar beforehand, and I don't think I'd ever lose after that point. I think after that I was pretty much set. There was no way I was gonna lose to any of the like Swedish foxes that weren't Leffen, because I played so much with him. And
I feel like now Fox is probably one of your better matchups, is it not?
It might be my best matchup, especially because I've got so many hours with Prisant recently. Yeah. We play. So I mean, I have beaten literally every fox I've played in Europe except Mint at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't. That's probably because I only played Mint once.
Yeah.
But beat Leffen, beat Nicky, beat Prison, beat a ton of people. Oh yeah, beat Prof 6-0 as well. So yeah, definitely one of my best matchups. 200%.
Ice?
Oh yeah, I did beat Ice. It's so weird playing all these people because all I think about nowadays, compared to like my first like significant win, was that they all just do a ton of wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Even Leffen, this is something that tilts me to an insane degree. But Leffen sucks at tech chasing, especially like you're on the frame 1 now. It doesn't take very long to learn how to crouch, react, and tech chase on the box. Like I learned that within the first week.
Just because the input of crouch dash back is very easy. Is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
it's still there's 2 different frame perfect inputs to do it, but it's literally like you try it and you're like, okay, so this is the timing, and then you just do it, and you don't have to think. It doesn't require like any new, particularly hard execution. So the fact that he just like he has me knocked down and he starts doing this, it tilts me so bad. I think I got like the Valhalla set. I think I got like a solid 5 get of attacks that just like led into kills on him, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing. This shouldn't happen like this. What is going on? And then at this point, the same with Ice. I remember last game versus Ice at Super Bowl. I intentionally went FD because I realized this person doesn't know how to punish. Like he doesn't react. He doesn't like flowchart his tech chases, his up throw chain grabs correctly. So I was like, okay, I'll go FD and then I'll punish you even if I lose neutral. And that is literally how I won. I was like down, I get him to last stock, and then I hit him once and he dies.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
I feel like the thing that actually marked you as a player when in coming up as a Fox player in the Ditto or in lower matchups is that you abuse reaction tech chase way more than, and I think that's like a marking thing in your play style as a whole, is that you more than other foxes opt into combos that let you reaction tech chase.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because my thought process is, why wouldn't I? Like, it guarantees a kill if you execute correctly. Yeah. And a big thing is like, it's usually a lot worse to do drill and then like shine and then mix up grab. Yeah. When I could just hit a nair 50% and knock him into stage and then guarantee kill them. And it's like, it's better on shield, it's better risk versus reward. And then I'm like, wait, if I didn't react on tech chase, this would be garbage because my risk versus reward would be so skewed towards their being better. And then I looked at like how Ice played and how Leffen played back then, and they like, regardless of percent, they like never used nair. They always use.
And it would make sense because if they can't, then the risk reward is bad.
Yeah, exactly. So at that point, I was just like, this is a huge advantage because it lets me play easier neutral with the same reward and like more skewed neutral. And yeah, that is definitely like my marking thing. I just reaction tech chase way more than most people.
You also like do shit like fair to set up a reaction tech chase in the middle of a combo rather than trying to go for like a
DI read.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like I was in the Melee Stats Discord not too long ago, and what I saw there was really funny because I saw a Sheik player who said who did a combo zero to death on FD. And someone replied, a combo on FD has to be pretty special to be cool, because like you can just kill them. And he went, well, Sheik isn't like Marth, because we still had to do a ton of like DI mix-ups, and I think I went off on him about like, no, there are 3 times where you F-tilt, but you could have re-grabbed, up-tilted, gotten a softed bear, reset the tech chase. What are you doing? Don't give him mix-ups. And I think that's like pretty indicative of how I view the game in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a lot of there are camps in Melee of how flowcharty players are, and you are in a very, or like, rather, everyone flowcharts everything, otherwise you couldn't play the game. But there are camps of how specific people's flowcharts are, how verbalized they are, and how conscious they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like you are in a camp which Red Lace is also, like if we're talking from Stockholm community people, you and Red Lace are in very clear, verbalized, clear-cut flowchart kind of punish game play styles.
Yeah, because why wouldn't I? It's like...
No, it makes sense. I'm also trying to be of the camp. It is just that it takes effort.
It does. It's one of those things that now it annoys me because it's such a clear thing when I feel like I can just auto-win a ton of stuff because there's no uncertainty with how I play.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same way that Wizroll, outside of like random Falcos, it's very unlikely you'll upset him because he'll kill you regardless of which player you are at a roughly the same rate, and unless you can do the same thing, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's part of why Falco is scary for him, because I feel like a lot of his like flowcharts don't work as well as they do in other matchups.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true.
I want to hard hit it.
But I feel like it's also one of those things that evolves depending on characters. I think that it's more obvious playing with flowcharts with some characters than it is with others. I feel like at least like Marth, for instance, has an introductory course in flowcharts just because when you play the matchup you get taught immediately that you win on FD by flowcharting spaces.
Yeah.
Like that's just it, and you get taught that immediately. So a Marth main gets a really good introduction to how to make the game rationally processable. Whereas like if you play Falco, where the fuck is the introduction of rational like punish game? It's just like you kind of dare and shine a bunch of times and then it doesn't work anymore and then you do something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's also part of why I think my Falco in like the Didon stuff does really well because I just applied the flowcharting thing, and it's very obvious when Falcos don't know what to do, and I think it happens at a lot of levels.
Yeah.
It's also like there was one introduction, and that was PPMD.
Yeah.
But outside of that, no, there really wasn't any like great introduction for how to flowchart. And I remember myself, I realized that while you can flowchart Falco, he benefits the most from uncertainty.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that. I think there is so much you can do, and I think it's really unfortunate that so many Falcos like are barely even like doing a fifth of what he should be doing.
Yeah.
I think people underrate him severely, but at the same time, why would I pick Falco to flowchart when I can flowchart easier and like be more encouraged to do it with someone like, you know, Fox or Kevin Falcon?
Yeah.
That's true. Though I do enjoy it with Falco as well, because like there's so many things that I've started doing. Oh wow, I counterpicked him exactly when he counterpicked me.
Yeah.
There's so many things I've started doing which Falcos don't do. So like if I see that they power shield, I do low lasers in a way where I jump over them and then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because at that point it's like
you both make the laser hard to power shield, and even if they do power shield it, you jump over it.
Yeah, and at that point it's just like it doesn't matter, and I think about that, and then I see that literally no one else does, and that annoys me.
Yeah. I think that Falco has a problem, most Falcos, and yeah, they have a problem with not... Because this is a thing, right? And this is a concept that you've talked a bit about now, but that I want to go into a bit, that the thing that people get is that punish game is flowcharted. Most people can understand that if you do the same thing here over and over, it will work because of the percents, because of the limited options in DI. Like especially from grab, people are very familiar that if you get grab with Sheik against Marth at 100%, you can down throw fair or down throw up fair, like those or whatever.
Yeah.
Like for example. But what people do not realize is that neutral is literally just punish game extended. Like in a certain situation, if Fox wisps an up smash in front of you and you're standing still,
what is your best way to punish it?
And 100% of the time, it's going to be the same. There's no difference.
Like the thing is, the factors that change it, they're predictable. So it's like, okay, if they're in the corner, you wanna you want to do F smash at 50+%. If there is in center stage, you want to do grab.
Just like you can react to DI.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so weird that conceptually it's harder to like understand something that's so clear, and it gets showcased, I think, in like the way Falcos use lasers, because you just kind of use lasers. You don't really think about specifically exactly the height usually when you're playing Falco, or a lot of people play Falco. They just kind of do the move because that's the move that PP uses, but they don't look at how he uses, what delay he has between the laser and whatever next move that he puts out, like what the frame advantage is. Like laser is so versatile in its usage that you can use it in so many different ways and have different outcomes.
The idea is that you want to solve problems, and Falco, I think it's very easy to automatically solve a lot of problems, but it doesn't encourage you to actually like problem solve correctly and
thoroughly figure out every outcome. You just kind of heuristic it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of what makes Mango so good, because if you look at how his playstyle has evolved, he very much identifies problems and solves them. He does also he's very comfortable just doing new shit like constantly. And the thing is, he doesn't do new shit just to do it. He's like, oh, does this work here?
Yeah.
And he's very good at asking those questions. And I think that's more of the natural way of doing the same thing, because it's like I might proactively go like, okay, at this percent, how do I beat this thing, right?
Yeah.
I think he mostly comes in that situation and then goes, okay. Also, the sun is coming out. It's insane. He proactively like, or he doesn't proactively. He reactively like something happens. And he's like, okay, what's the solution? And then he just remembers it for next time.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool that if people look at him like he's so natural, he doesn't do this. And I think he 100% does.
No, you cannot be that good without having like being specific about the problems that you're facing. It's literally impossible to just, I feel like, be 100% intuitive, because you have to put focus into situations in order to improve them.
Yeah.
You have to try to apply something new, otherwise nothing will happen. And that's what people get stuck with a lot of the time. It's just they try to do something they try to improve something by knowing this is my problem, but never trying to apply different solutions. They just know the problem.
Yes.
You know what I mean by that?
I do. It's one thing that I always point out is that when I want to.
You could have dared.
Yeah, I could have dared.
It would have swag. You would have died, but it would have been swag.
You're correct. But yeah, that's the main thing that I point out. Is just that you have to like actually solve problems, and I think people are really uncomfortable doing that. I think that's the main reason like why some players improve really fast and some don't. Is because if you just play without solving problems, you won't advance very fast. But if you look at something, you're like, fuck, I'm losing to this. Then no matter like how hard of a time you have beating that specific thing, everything you do towards that, I feel like makes you better at applying the same thought process later on, right?
You mentioned before that you went from being a very result-oriented player, where you looked at wins and like game wins and set wins and results, stats to decide skill. You went into more a mentality of trying to play as correct melee as possible. Where did you say that the transformation between the two started taking place?
So the reason I was a result-oriented player was because I didn't feel like I knew what good melee looked like, or like I didn't know what the end goal was. So for me it was like I'm kind of just winging it for a bit, and when I'm still just figuring things out, I didn't have like the compass. And at that point it's like if I don't feel like I don't know what my goal, like what I want to get out of melee is, and I don't know like how much time I'm gonna be able to invest into it, and I don't know what my like motivation is. At that point it's like the only thing I had was mostly just I'm enjoying myself every day, I'm having fun, like this is the thing I enjoy spending time on the most. And because I enjoy spending time on it, and I don't really know what I'm doing, I wanna justify spending more time.
Yeah.
So let me like, I wanna beat this player, and that also a pretty solid like way to keep, like motivate me to play more, which
And
I
justify like playing more.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than just playing to play. Makes sense. But where did you discover the like? Because you said that you learned later what it looked like.
So a lot of it was just like at the start you're sort of just copying stuff and trying to figure out why people do what they do. So like I'd look at say a Leffenwad and he'd do a lot of wave dash up tilt, and I wasn't using up tilts at the time, so I was like, okay, why does he do this? And when you're just trying to figure out why people are doing stuff, it's very hard to know or like express yourself, I guess. It's very hard to feel like you're contributing anything. While as soon as I knew that, oh, okay, so these are the mechanics, this is why he does it, this is the thought process, and I could start thinking about the game myself, and like, instead of feeling like I'm trying to decipher a foreign language of like, what are the old greats doing, and instead I'm doing stuff myself, it became a lot more fun, and I decided that, okay, I know that I want to be able to like kill you in one hit here. I know that every time this should be a stock, and because I know that that's true, I wanna. That is my goal. And
I want to find the path to make that truth.
Yes, and like I already knew it. I just like want to get to the point when I can execute on it, and the theoretical becomes the actually like practical. As soon as that happened, and I like started coming to my own decisions, I didn't need to have the type of like external goal, because I already had the internal goal.
Yeah.
So a good example is just like tech chasing, right? It's like I realized, wait, I can kill you. So first I realized that on FD in the Fox data, if you up throw up tilt, they can SDI up and then they get a jump mix up. And you're like, okay, well, people are eventually going to start doing this, and I know this because Leffen had started doing it. That was how I found out. He was like, okay, so I got to figure out a solution to this. What
was the jump mix up? Was it just SDI up and then?
Yeah, you do SDI up and then SDI up and away, and then you get to jump out before they can hit you again. Or you force like a back air early, and if you force the back air early, you get a recovery mix up.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, so how do I solve this problem? And I was like, I want to try solving this, because this is a new issue that doesn't have a agreed upon solution.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what percent does fair knock down? And I realized that fair knocks down at exactly the percent where this becomes a problem. And I was like, wait, can I cover all DI on fair and just, you know...
Fair tech chase?
Yeah, and as soon as I realized that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And, you know, people don't do that yet. I don't know if they ever will. But because it was something I found out, I basically said, okay, I'm gonna do this, because this is obviously like better. It doesn't force the mix up.
Yeah.
And then I just, what's it called? Then I just kept doing that for a bit, and I found more and more things where, when I look at the top foxes, even today, they don't do these things, and because they don't do these things, I feel like there's so much I can explore, and now I stopped being a follower and started being like, you know, the pioneer, the guy who just does new shit.
Yeah.
And that's when I didn't need external goals, because I suddenly had a compass. Like now I wanna innovate here.
Yeah. But for the people that haven't found that yet, that are trying to like watch vaults and they see Leffen up tilting and I'm like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. I'm just gonna copy him. How do you find the compass that you found? What was your journey to get there?
So the skill you learn when you copy that type of thing is to break it down, right? I had to break it down, so I was like, okay, he up tilts at this percent, and what can happen here in this spot? What can happen after he up tilts? Like, can he get a back air? He goes for an up air. Like, can he go a second up tilt? What's the risk versus reward? What's the counterplay? Like, I broke down the situations in my head. I didn't even like pause and watch. I mostly just like thought about the spot, like this percent, and this move does this on different DI. Like, I played enough of melee that I felt like I had a decent idea of like at 50%, hitting an up tilt looks like this, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, you just that skill to identify that and like play and try and like emulate the situation. You're like, okay, so I think this is where Leffen would have gone for an up tilt, right?
Yeah.
When you can ask and answer that question, I felt like it was really easy to what's it called? It was really easy from there. That then when I saw a new problem and I wasn't looking at vaults, I was like identifying a problem with my own game plan or with something someone else was doing. At that point, I'd already gotten like used to the thought process, because the thought process is literally just like, this is the problem. So what problem is Leffen trying to solve becomes, what problem am I having and what's the solution? And it's the exact same process. You break it down and you like figure it out step by step. You try different things, and it was very seamless, because the understanding I got from like copying, that's the same understanding for like how the game works that I then use when I figure new stuff out.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, Leffen up tilts here because if you grab, they can DI out, and that in that same spot, as soon as I take that exact same spot and he stops, and like I figure out that they can just SDI, right? Then I no longer have to solve that problem. I have to solve a new one. So instead of going, okay, this beats DI away, I go, okay, what beats both DI away and SDI up? And I went, okay, this is the thing that beats both is tech chasing with fair.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same thought process. It's just now you're no longer working on what others have already done, and instead you're trying to like figure out uncharted territory.
But then even then, there are things that I think a lot of players don't do that you mentioned as your first step, which is when you watch and copy someone, you watch and copy someone while doing or while trying to solve the puzzle they've solved.
Yes, because I think that's the only way you're realistically gonna like develop the understanding necessary to what's it called, to surpass and like become a good player yourself. Because I think if all you do is copy, it's very easy to like have spots where it's like you haven't seen the situation before, and if you haven't figured out what kind of thinking they used, then you sort of just sit there and you go, okay, well, what now? While because I thought about that and I was like, this is the obvious like end goal. If I don't figure out why they're doing these decisions, this is like the peak, right? You can't get past this if you can't tell. I very early like my motivation wasn't to be the perfect Leffen copy. It's just to ask, well, if he does this, why? So that next time, not only can I do the same thing, but if I'm faced with a similar problem, I can also solve it. I don't have to rely on anyone else. So that is why I had that mentality from day one. Yeah. It helped that I have been playing stuff like Here's a New Earth and CS, right? Because it's sort of, to me, it's sort of like, it's really easy to see like a smoke setup, right? In CS, because if you see a smoke setup in CS, you're just like, this is what people do. You throw it here, it lands here, and sure, you might throw it every game, every round, and you might go, okay, so I blocked this off, right? But imagine in some spot you have a different like. You're not going in the exact same way every round, because then they know exactly what timing you're going to come out on. They know everything is going to be exactly the same. So you have to do something new, right? And then it's like, okay, well, most likely there's already a ton of people who figured out like 7 or 8 different variations on this that like solve different problems. But say that even then at pro play, you're like, okay, they know that we're going to do one of these 4 things. We're behind. We gotta do something new. What do you do then? Well, you like figure out a new version to solve a new problem. Yeah. And it's the exact same thing. It's just like you can copy it, and everyone is gonna copy it at every ranking. But if you actually want to be good, then copying it probably isn't gonna be enough, because eventually you're gonna run into people who can beat it even though you copied it.
because really you're not necessarily copying something. You are trying to you're trying to practice doing the problem solving yourself.
Yes.
Because there's a huge, like a printer can copy or a page that you have, but it does not have any understanding of what the contents of the paper means. Like it's just a bunch of letters or whatever, but it knows how to copy it and knows how to copy it perfectly. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to, like AI, understand what the letters are actually saying, so that in the new situation you can come up with a different solution rather than just copy pre-existing something.
Yes. The big thing is I don't start doing that because to me it was very important that I saw they did something, so even before I understood it, I still did it.
Yeah.
Like even before I understood why Leffen was doing it, I felt like it was very valuable to me to do it myself, to like get experience if nothing else. Because if all I'm doing is copying, it's very possible that, or if all I'm doing is thinking about it, it's probably gonna be slower than if I think about it myself and while I'm doing it. So if I just think about it theoretically, it's like maybe I'm not gonna see something while I'll like unintentionally beat something I didn't expect to beat.
Yeah.
And it's like really valuable new information. So I definitely like, even before I even before I understood why people did stuff, I just did it.
Yeah.
I just like, okay, Leffen up tilt here, I'm up tilt.
Yeah.
So you start as a printer and then slowly develop towards something more sustainable.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Nice. That is exactly it. Yeah, it's important because I think that's the big difference. Even if you're in the other camp that like, you mostly go based on feeling. This type of information is really important when you're like feeling out new stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because your feeling isn't just like a random chance. It's still based on something. So I think this type of practice, even if you don't want to be, the Wizrobe and you want to be the Mango, like even if you look at his stream, he does this all the time.
Yeah.
It's like every time he just tries to do something new because it's like, oh, okay, so this spot is really annoying. What's the solution? Like, at first, I got so indoctrinated by the general like image he has that I thought that he like didn't do that. But then I watched the stream and he's like one of the fastest people at going, oh shit, this is new. What do I do here? And it's the exact same thing. And then people go like, oh, he has a solution for everything. It's just feeling. When actually it's just like new spot. What do I do? Yeah. Figure it out.
I feel like intuition-based play is also misunderstood so hard because feeling something out is not just that people are autopiloting all the time and then they understand what's happening suddenly because they've autopiloted enough in every situation that they just get it. What playing field-based has to be, not that I'm like I'm not the intuition lord, but what it has to be is that you keep applying consistent focus on a certain situation, and then you find a solution that you may not be able to verbalize exactly what's happening. Like you may understand that this position feels good to do, or this move feels good to do, because you have put focus while in the situation and doing different things, and you've seen this is what works. It's kind of like because I was there's a huge difference for me, at least. When I was playing League, I was completely 100% intuition. There was I never practiced anything with numbers or any set strategies.
You didn't go to the jungle role and you were like, okay, what timings do I want to do these camps? At what point do I want to do clear from top to down, from down to top? Like, do I want to leash these? Like, you didn't do that shit. You just like, oh, last hit good. Yeah. You caveman brain.
I focused on seeing how much health the opponent had, and I saw if their health is this level, I know I can kill them.
Yeah.
And that was just a feeling. I had no like, oh, I look at the numbers, I saw that the health bar was at a specific point, and I knew, okay, and if this situation happens, it feels good to threaten more with like zoning or whatever. Like, it wasn't like I had shit that I just came up with through autopiloting. It was that I always, when I played, wanted to think, how can I optimize me having hit them? And then I maybe didn't verbalize shit, but I like still understood the situation. I think it's the same goes for melee, where it's just even people that can't explain why they're doing what they're doing usually are focused enough on the situation and have ideas. It's just that what their ideas are can't be explained easily.
That it's a completely different skill set to be a teacher than it is to like just do it yourself. So even if you're bad at explaining it, like that doesn't mean that you don't do this. It's just you haven't actually like talked to yourself about it and figured out like exactly why you do it this way. But you probably do something along these lines if you're good. Yeah. It's also why like the concept of learning how to learn is so important, because this type of thinking, the fighting game mentality, is very good at all forms of problem solving, not just like games, but I feel like you can apply it to like almost anything and just be better than the majority of people at solving new problems, because you thought about the similar situations so frequently in game that when you're faced with something new and that other people might be like confused, you just quickly identify what are the factors at play, what problem am I trying to solve, and you know, it's the same thing with different terminology. Yeah. No, it makes sense. I feel like we have lost the talking about, because I really like talking about mentality, so I always go on a tangent about it. This was a long one, but that's fine. I don't mind. It's something I talk about a lot as well.
I feel like it's good also. I think you should like it. I do not know though, but I would like it because I feel like there are so many podcasts that like talk about general melee results and like talking about, oh, this player is so cool and this and that, but I don't think there are many podcasts that actually talk to players about like how they actually view the game and like what the game means to them and what improving means to them and shit like that. Like usually it's just like get to know this player.
Yeah.
And both are fun, I think, but I think the mentality part is kind of unexplored in a sense. And I think a lot of people want to know how to get better. I feel like Melee is full of people who want to improve but don't know exactly how to do it.
I think so too. I think it's a completely different like format though. I think you kind of what you're trying to do is, when you're watching a podcast of your favorite player, you're probably not expecting, you're not going in there with the study glasses. You're mostly going in there to, you know, turn your brain off for a little bit and maybe hear some funny stories, right? Yeah. Which is like one of the, I watched the new, what's it called, Bobby Big Balls podcast with West Balls. He's actually really good at doing like, making that approachable while also doing some educational stuff there. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't actually seen that podcast. I saw that he started podcasting, but my relationship with him is like a bit iffy just because I've heard so many like...
Yes, I'm the same. Someone asked if I want to like go on and I basically said, probably not. It's like, I respect his skill as a interviewer is basically what I have to say, but I don't really... It's such a weird situation. I definitely probably wouldn't like go on his stuff for that reason. Yeah. It's just like I wish I so wish that it weren't so, but I have so many friends who have been treated badly by him that's like I'm not gonna support that. It was mostly that someone said that, oh, he's a really good interviewer, and I was mostly again solving a problem. I was like, if I want to do a podcast, what about him makes it so that people in the comments go, what the fuck?
It's just empty pivoting. What the fuck is he doing?
I don't know.
This guy's insane! Sorry, you go.
Yeah, no worries. So I had to check like, okay, what is he doing differently? And he's very good at like asking specific questions and not going too much on tangents. However, he does the same thing except on like what's it called, mentality stuff, where it's like not improvement generally, but like how did you deal with struggling in melee? Because that is something that Westpos and him like have both experienced. Everyone has their own tangent they go on.
Yeah. No, it's true. A lot of people have stories about, because everyone's had periods where they feel like they are the worst player at this game and that they should quit and that they don't understand why they even do this anymore. So talking about that's also kind of interesting, but it's not very positive always.
No. It's why I'm trying to stop saying like I'm so bad and instead like explain what it is.
To be better at.
It's mostly I try to explain like what prompted me to have that reaction and like what did I miss and what am I trying to hit for next time.
Yeah.
Because I think that's way more valuable and way less discouraging. Because like if someone comes on and they hear me go, oh I'm so bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine you haven't played Melee for that long and this, at surface value, like amazing player goes, I'm so bad at the game. Like that's kind of discouraging, no? It's like, imagine you're a new player and like even the best players like beating themselves up for it. I think it's way better to just go like, oh fuck, I missed this. I'm mad.
I actually had the opposite thing. When I was new and starting out, I felt like I felt so bad when I lost and like I was so salty and shit. And I thought that I was just bad, like my mentality was bad. And then one time I was at SU and I was going home and Humpe and Lamp were going home with me. And both of them had lost to people that they didn't think they should lose to. Yeah. And both of them were salty. And I had an awakening watching them salt that my salt was not unnatural and it was not even that bad. When I saw Humpe salt, I was like, okay, dude, I'm not even salty. I like get upset for a little bit, but then I let it go. He just like thinks about it all the time. He kept like coming back to it in conversations. There would be like a pause and he's like, I'm so fucking bad.
It's like baby level salt.
Yeah, and I felt it was reassuring to me because I was like, okay, at least good players also feel this. It's not like they're super robots or whatever.
Well, that's fair, but it's mostly like I feel like what can happen, or what I've heard people tell me, is that it's like if you think you're bad, then how bad am I?
Yeah.
And I think they're both like valuable perspectives. And like I'm not saying I'm so bad after a loss. Like I'll do that too, but I think that's different. It's mostly like I miss one combo and I don't perfectly kill you, and then I go, I'm so bad, and it's like, at that point, it can definitely be a little bit discouraging to people.
Yeah.
Which I want to avoid.
No, I understand the perspective. It's just as funny that I have the exact opposite. But I guess that goes to show that people are different. Pivot.
You do those here? No.
Are pivots easier on the box?
No. It depends. If you have a bad pivot controller, then yes, they're way easier. If not, then no, they're not easier.
How was transitioning to the box? You were one of the first Swedish players, I feel like, to...
Very easy. I think I talked to, what's his name, Rix at a tournament, went, oh, don't expect to have any good results for like a solid 6 months. And I was like, huh, okay. And then I basically had good results like 1 or 2 months in, and I was like, huh, I feel like I've been lied to.
Yeah.
And I think it takes like a solid 2 months to be like 70%, 80% back. I don't think it's that hard to learn.
But it of course depends on how much you practice in those and how much you solo practice and etc, I guess.
Well, I was a little bit conservative there because I feel like I was mostly back, like a solid, what's it called, a solid month in or so. I felt like I was 70-80% back, but if you don't play the insane hours I did at that time, it can definitely take longer.
Yeah. I feel that. Are you happy that you made the switch nowadays?
Yes, 1,000,000,000%. I was so mad because my controller broke. And I bought a like Cardano controller and I was like, man, I just want to be able to not care about having amazing controllers and being super careful every month. And, you know. So I basically said, okay, I don't want to deal with this, so I'll buy this controller because
it's so much more expensive to buy new controllers also after a while.
Yeah, like it looks expensive to buy a box, but I'm saving money in the long run.
Yeah, that's true. Like I have, I think 10 controllers or something, and like 8 of them literally do not work. And what I mean by do not work is like I plug them in, they don't recognize inputs. It's not like, oh, I have snapback and it's not good for me. It's like, no, I literally can't use this.
Yeah.
It's just a shell. So the GameCube controllers are unreliable as fuck. That's what I'm trying to say.
It is annoying. I wish there weren't. I hope the like Panda controller. Or
Yeah, I'm hoping for that. But it'll probably break.
probably
Why wouldn't
will.
it break? And a stick will get loose and it will fuck your tech base or tech skill. It has to. Unless the stick is like digital.
Well, I think like a Smash box, Smash stick thingy, where it's like half a box and like fighting game stick, I think can work fine. Mostly because the stick would be in such like higher quality that I don't think it'd be as susceptible to wear and tear.
Maybe.
But yeah, it is definitely like a big factor. If the Smash Stick like comes out, I'll definitely buy it because when I can afford it, because I definitely wanna try that out. I don't like the like legality arguments of the box because I didn't buy it to like get an unfair advantage. I bought it because I was tired of having bad controllers, and I'd rather just use a Smash Stick if it also doesn't break and it also like avoids any potential legal problems.
I feel like the box really is just like how many players actually switch to box because they're like, well, shit, it's OP. I feel like most people are just as you say, tired of controllers, have hand pains or some other reason. But I also understand the reasons that there are legality discussions because like there are of course advantages to both regular control styles and like box type controllers.
Yes, and I definitely think it's I think it's silly to not have the discussion because it's like. I know people who are like, no, the box is fine, it's nerfed and stuff, but then we look at the frame 1, which just doesn't have a few of the nerfs, and you're like, okay, where does the line go?
Yeah.
And at that point, I'd rather just, personally, I want to like over nerf stuff so that there's no risk that it's not, legal.
Yeah.
Because that just sucks.
Yeah, when I saw that frame 1 has like consistent 1.0 values and shit like that, I was like, okay, okay, I guess it's just better.
Yeah.
Oh, bye.
Goodbye.
That was nice. You play a lot of characters, Pipsqueak.
I do.
Tell me, how come you play so many characters?
Because the game is fun, and also that every character has different skill sets that they require me to learn. So especially switching to the box, there's like I wouldn't have learned pivoting if I didn't want to, do well with marth as well. And it's just enjoyable to lab out and understand, and especially it's like I think it's very easy to only be good at one character, and I'd rather not do that, especially if like you have people in your chat who main another character and you want to give them advice. And like if I look at a matchup, I want to know exactly how these characters function so that I can like better understand what it is I'm actually playing against. And because of that, even very early, I played a lot of secondaries because I just wanted to understand what I was fighting against, their limitations and stuff.
Yeah.
It's also just, it helps a lot with salt for me because I feel like it's very easy for me to get salty if I don't know, it just feels like they're bullshitting, easy wins.
Yeah. And then you play the character and you're like, there's no way I could beat myself playing my main when I play my secondary marth or whatever. So
Yeah.
There has to be hard shit you have to do also.
Well, that was part of why I switched, I've had like periods where I've been salty about other characters. I've never even like remotely considered a secondary for anyone except marth, because with marth it's like, I pick marth versus prison, and some games I just force talk him, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
This wouldn't happen if I played Sheik or anyone else. This wouldn't happen. I'd have to work very hard. Well, sometimes it's like, oh, you auto win, and it didn't really feel like a ton of work. That is.
What happened to the Pipsqueak marth edgeguard? I remember you made a video
Do you still do it?
No, first of all, I switched character to Sheik, that's a big reason. But second of all, I think it's probably strictly worse than doing the normal thing. The benefit is that you have easier setup, but the execution, not easier, the setup is harder for it. It's just faster setup, but there's so many spots where if they have like a double jump mix-up, there's no reason to go for the setup, because at that point you risk less by having your back to them. While if they don't have a double jump mix-up, then you can probably, you most likely have time to set up the normal one anyways. So the benefit is like pretty minimal, and it requires a ton of annoying implementation and like execution that the normal method doesn't. So I just decided that I think it's probably slightly better in theory, but I think it's not worth the extra hassle.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think it is, however, worth it in some situations as a what's it called? As like a bait.
Sorry.
Because you can run up and just do it, and it's like low risk, and if you get hit, they think you're angling it out, and you're not, and you stay on the stage. So it's something I want to experiment more with. It's mostly just been that it's annoying to practice when I've had so many other things that I want to learn.
Yeah.
Because the execution is actually really annoying for it, especially on the box, because I have to hold a ton of modifier buttons and stuff to actually get like, to let me angle shield.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably do it on controller, because then you just go into one of the notches, and as soon as you go into the notch, you don't have to think about execution. You just move between two notches, and it's really easy.
Yeah.
You won't roll accidentally. While on the box, it's like if I press a button slightly wrong, then now you started rolling. I hope you enjoy this.
Makes sense. Who do you recommend switch to the box? Is there a specific type of player? How did you recognize that type?
No, I think the box is like pretty strictly a better controller, because there's so many times I didn't even realize this. Like I didn't consider myself to have hand pains at all, but it definitely did stress me out, like hand-wise. So I did play less, and when I realized I could play like however much I want without like caring about it, it was just so much less stressful. And I was like, I really think that because of that, even if the controller is like slightly worse, it's just so much nicer for letting you play forever, right?
Yeah.
So I really think that any player can benefit from it.
Makes sense. I've been on and off thinking about switching to box, but I don't think I'll do it in a while at least. But if my current controller breaks, this has been the longest lasting controller I've had. I think I've had it for more than a year, which is super long for me. I don't think usually controllers last like 4 months for me or something, and then something happens and I get sad.
That is how it goes.
Yeah. How do you feel like Melee has been for you during Rona times? I feel like you've taken an extra step during Corona, improvement-wise, compared to the competition.
Big reason for that is mostly because I've been, I've been bored, and it's a very good solution to boredom to just practice. And I also, what ended up happening is I've cheated a little bit in that I didn't really have
Melee cheats. Tell us your Melee cheats.
I didn't really have a like huge motivation, because it's like no one is taking it super seriously, and then Slipper came out and I still wasn't taking it super seriously. But then I ended up getting to know Prison, and what happened was now I get really good practice. We play like World of Warcraft or something, and then we just go, do you want to play some Melee? And then we just play for like an hour or so. Yeah. And that's just like better practice than I would normally get. Yeah. So that's definitely helped my improvements.
I feel like just as a good player at least, just playing in these times will give you so much. Like, there are so many people I feel like who just don't really care right now because there's no events, so they just like take this as a little bit of a break. Whereas people who actually keep grinding during these times just skyrocket compared to what they were before.
Well, I don't really take it super seriously. I also see it as a break. It's mostly that streaming is fun, or like competing in tournaments is enjoyable to me, and if I don't do that, then there's really nothing I'm like super replacing it with. So I'd rather just spend some time doing it, even if it's not the same amount as normal. And also there's the fact that, like I said, I don't play for results. I play for this version of Melee in my head that I wanna reach.
Yeah.
So if I play Prisoned and we have a really good session, even if I'm not doing it to like beat Leffen or do that, because
it will take you there because you're trying to improve the game plan.
Yeah. And it's also just like enjoyable to improve the game plan without care about external results. Well, I think if I was playing mostly to get results, I think I wouldn't have as fun just casual playing.
Makes sense. Fuck, I had something to add to that, but I forgot completely. Yeah, but what I was going to say is that, it's true that you might, if you more like a break sort of thing, but you still play tournaments, you still play preset kind of regularly, and you still try to improve whatever you're doing. I feel like some people just kind of don't.
Yeah, I respect that. It's just mostly that I think doing it for an external reward is really toxic right now.
Yeah.
So I think if you're gonna do that, I would much rather take a break. But if you do it for intrinsic reasons, I think it's completely fine to play during these times. I mean, I not have to care about traveling, and everyone is playing better than they ever have because the net play is better. It's just really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that hit.
I actually feel like Slippy didn't change that much for me net play wise. I feel like the problem was when you played against Germans or whatever, the experience was shitty because they lagged. And then during Slippy, I feel like my experiences are still shitty versus German players because they just roll back all the time, and it's like, I don't want to play against this guy.
Thankfully, this doesn't happen to me with the good Germans, at least. I don't think I've played very many that just like roll back a ton, thankfully. But I definitely see how that would go.
I think it's just my racist stereotype against German Melee players.
You mean bad internet being a racist stereotype?
Yes. Because I have played against like 2 Germans or something, and both experiences were bad, so they are all bad.
That is how that works.
Yes. Oh, you should have done what was good.
Well, the opposite of it. I thought he did.
I know, it was not bad. I was being the general Melee content consumer. He should have done the thing that was good that I can't say what it was.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's a really common like error people make in that even if something doesn't work out, that doesn't mean it was a bad decision.
Yeah.
And even if something does work out, it doesn't mean it was a good decision.
No.
Sometimes it's like, obviously there I probably had time to just do like an F smash or.
You probably could have reacted, but it was a hard reaction.
No, I did react. It's just I thought it was closer.
No.
So that's why I did up tilt, because that comes into downer there. But now that I know that was like a bad decision. But imagine if I did the F smash, but I was just a little bit late.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the F smash was a bad decision. It just means that I messed up the execution.
Yeah.
Well, I think it can be pretty common to get discouraged there, and that's another reason it's good to have the like. Understanding of like why you do stuff, because I miss the F smash and I don't go, oh, I should do something else. I go, okay, I should do that better next time.
Yeah, it makes sense. I want to talk to you as a premier Fox player about something that I've been feeling like exists, but I want to make sure by asking. I feel like there's a Fox Illuminati.
Okay.
I feel like Fox players have a clique that no one else is invited to, where they're just homies with each other and play with each other all the time and are nice to each other. But as a low tier Yoshi main, I will never experience the paradise that is people who are nice to each other and play against each other and are friendly.
So this does exist.
I knew it! Fox Illuminati! Confirmed!
But it's actually I'm in like 3 different Fox servers which are just like Fox players
Circle jerking.
No, actually, a lot of it is like improvement stuff.
Yes,
but
circle jerking.
There is also selfies. So there's a selfie channel, which you know that's
in 3 discords. Or in just one?
In just one.
Okay.
But I'm in there, and I still like only play with Prisant really. The Illuminati is mostly that we just enjoy hanging out and talking Fox stuff. Like I talk with them, but I still don't play all of them. I mostly play like a few of them, like maybe Nikki, Prisant. I probably wouldn't play the other ones that much, but it's just really nice to be in there and talk about stuff.
My suspicions were true. There is a Fox Illuminati. That is the reason that Fox players are better than everyone else.
Yes.
Confirmed. Nobody can tell me anything else.
Well, it's like genuinely true because we do just like if someone asks some shit there, we do just answer it for the other guy or the other person. So that is just true. A lot of people have probably gotten a lot better from that Illuminati Discord.
I am in the Yoshi Illuminati Discord. I can tell you there is nothing happening there. There is nothing.
Well, I say Illuminati Discord. It's not the character Discord, the general one.
No, it's not the general one. I got invited to a secret character Discord for Yoshi players who actually try.
Ah, I see.
It's secret, by the way. Nobody has written anything ever. I tried to create a discussion of any sort. It did not work, and so I've decided I'm just going to be with myself.
That's fair. Yeah, no, we have those Discords, except they actually have discussion and people do actually try. So I guess our Illuminati Discord is simply better than your Illuminati Discord. You heard it here.
Better character, better players. It's just
better human beings, everything.
Why was I born in Yoshi?
Yeah. Oh, Phantom hit bear, so I can beat him up. That's very nice. Thank you, game.
The Marth Illuminati is centered around Red Blaze.
This is true. I'm in the like save state Discord and I'm in like the Marth Discord. I check sometimes. It's like there's so many people asking questions and I just see Red Blaze answering literally everything and I'm like yeah. So the Illuminati Discord all traces back to one person.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
I do too.
No, but I've always thought about that, so I'm glad that it's true. Because Fox players have a certain love for each other that you cannot find in other characters as much.
Well, yes and no, in that I still feel like most of them are really bad for doing bad like gimmicky execution stuff, but I love them because when I tell them they're bad, they listen. Which I don't feel is always the case with other characters. So the reason I love them is because they're basically I tell them they're bad at the game for not reacting. They're like, yes, Pipsqueaks,
yes, daddy.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like, we're gonna start reacting, and then they never do. But the fact that they like listen to me, it feels good, you know. I didn't have to do that, but I had to do that. Did you see me laser F-tilt?
You were an F-tilt champion.
I just laser F-tilt them because the
daft. F-tilt is the move that looks the weakest in Falco's kit.
It's one of his best moves.
I know.
It's so good.
It just puts his foot out.
Yeah, it's
careful.
It's the poke of death. You know, back in the day as a kid, we called Luigi's F smash the poke of death. I've concluded that the real poke of death was fucking Falco F-tilt all along. He just pokes you and he just does it over and over. It looks like this. He just takes his hand forward and you're like, or foot forward, and you're like, okay, I guess I can't do anything. I guess I'm dead.
I always called the Luigi F smash the waiter because he's like handing you a plate. Here you go.
That works as well.
But I also hated Luigi.
I do too.
What do you think the Luigi Illuminati is like?
Do you think that exists? I think it's very bad if it exists.
I wonder what it's like to play a character where
people talk about the chain grab as if it's like a, it's like a conspiracy theory. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I've had the exact same thought. It's like when I look at how some marths play, and they treat like the FD chain grab like the conspiracy, like I look at fucking La Luna or something,
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder what it's like having people who don't, you know...
They don't believe in it. It's
Yeah.
like, they're flat earthers of their character.
It's like, I look at Captain Falcons and they're like, we can do anything. If you do the perfect triple air dodge, saver double jump mix up,
Yeah.
DI out,
Yeah.
double take, phantom hit, reverse, side B grab.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
If you do all this shit, fucking just works, TM. And then I look at like Falcon, it's like, sometimes my shine doesn't like sometimes I feel like I can convert from it, and it's just like really annoying, and I haven't thought about it too much, but it's just really
feeling is bad.
Yeah, it just feels bad, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
And then I see them look at like Pee and Ginger, and they're like, oh, but Mango's better than them, so there's no point in...
This never works when I do it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no point in following what they do. Why
Yeah.
think about things? I just look at the foxes, and they're like, oh, maybe we should actually do quadruple shine grab on your shield. Maybe that is optimal, or like, you know, they have some stupid thing, and it's sort of like you can go the other direction. Like, imagine if Yoshi had like a double frame perfect
Sorry.
option, and Yoshi mains were like, yeah, just do this every time. I feel like I can see that with foxes sometimes, and I'm like, bro, no. It's like the complete other side of the spectrum, where with some characters, like, no one believes in their character, and with Fox is like, dude,
Yeah.
just, have you tried quadruple shine grabbing?
When I started out, I thought that people were bad because they didn't use shine flank as a method to actually consistently parry shit.
And I just go, bruh,
Yeah.
can we please talk about consistency and all that? And Laughing has had this discussion. The thing is, people tilt me because they do that about me, as if I like do this unreal, impossible to do stuff when I sit there and like there's a 20 frame reaction.
Yeah.
And that's like twice the human reaction time. And I reacted, they're like, dude, you should do some like, you should have some backup for like an easier thing to do. And I'm like, should I?
Yeah.
Should I really?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I gotta take a bathroom break for the stream. It's important for you to know. I'll do something. I guess I'll just see in editing when I'm not on the screen, so you can entertain the chat. You're used to streaming.
I am.
Yeah.
I will.
Not your stream. It's on the screen.
No,
Just cross out.
yeah, you're right. I should just start my own stream. I'm ending your stream and starting my stream.
No.
This is my shit now. I said I do daily streams. I load up my stream without him noticing. I just log in on mine, and then I log out without him noticing, and suddenly we just do it on my stream instead. And then this is my daily stream. What's my favorite color? I really like white, black, blue, and red. I think are all my favorite colors. They're not the most interesting, but in order, I'd say I really like dark blue. I really like white, like silver, white, that color, and after that, I think it's black and red. I'm interviewer now. Anyone can be an interviewer if you try hard enough. Easy money. It's such an easy job. All you do is ask questions and try not to go on tangents. It's like, anyone can do this. That's why there's only like a few bearable interviewers in the world that are considered experts in their field at it. Because it's so easy. Look at my smashing. Oh, you see that? I just, when Rev isn't here, I pull out the forbidden technique. CC up smash into the downer expecting him to DI out. And it always works. drunk straight. There's no more interview questions. How do I entertain the chat? I've never done this before. I'm not a streamer. All I do is sit here and play games. It's the easiest job on the planet, right? Which is why you don't get paid for it. No, I actually do think it's something I realized. I think it's really a blessing that I'm such a egotistical is the wrong word, but I really enjoy just talking about shit. And it's so blessed to be playing Melee and then also have that disposition, because I feel bad for the people who like play Melee and they just don't want to talk or don't want to do anything like that, and you just sit there and you're like, okay, this isn't viable, what do I do? Honestly, very lucky to like doing it. Which class in World of Warcraft is Marth? Ooh! Which expansion? Which expansion are we talking? Classic, okay. Honestly, I think Marth is Mage. I think Marth is Mage because the design is cool, but you can just like in PV you can literally just fucking frostbolt, one button rotation. You do get 1 billion gold for free, aka freebies. But then they're also really cool if you like really get into them and like do the coolest stuff they can do. So a good example is like I think playing a mage decently in TBC PvP is really easy. Doing it well is really hard. So I definitely think mage fits the most, because you just have so many quality of life things that no other class has. You just make money for free. Okay, I gotta react, there we go.
Are you making money for free right now?
Yeah, but talking about... Ekim asked, which class in World of Warcraft is Marth? And I said, I think he's mage, because I think he gets so many freebies, he can like AoE level, he can fucking gold farm better than anyone else. He has a one button rotation that like beats so many things for free, aka his PvE rotation, but he can be really cool if you actually like... He has a really high skill cap. Which is why I put him as mage, because I don't think any class has the same super high skill cap, but also gives like that many like second chances and...
Not only is he easy, but he is broken.
Just like mages.
Just like mages. Quote from Pipsqueak.
Rogue isn't ICs. I think Rogue... Okay, so the thing about Rogue is that they're ICs in Classic, but they're not... They're like... Probably Fox in TBC, because everyone knows the matchup. But you have so many tools that it sometimes like straight up doesn't matter. But you don't insta kill stuff. You just consistently have the most tools to do weird shit in PvP. So that they're basically Fox, because they don't have one move that's like SSS tier like they do in Classic, aka Wobble. They just have a ton of really good stuff. Let's synergize as well. Also, you're back now. Hello, Mr.
I'm back. We're gonna stop talking about WoW Classic because WoW is
a dead game. We know.
Boring.
And this is also true.
I play WoW every now and then, and every time I do, there are a lot of people that can verify that I just complain all the time about how I wish I was doing something else.
So the funny thing is, I'm not sure if you know this, but my first gaming experience was World of Warcraft. My family played World of Warcraft, and I was actually abused as a gold farming bot, and also a leveling bot. So like when TBC came out, my big brother, I was like 7, 6 maybe, he had a ton of schoolwork to do, and he really wanted to like play the expansions. He's like, please level for me. Please go from 1 to like from like 60 to 75 for me while I do my classes, and I did. And then he was like, And then my mom was like, oh no, he was like, oh yeah, I need money. Do you like fishing? I'm like, yeah, I like fishing. Yeah, go to Whaling Caverns and
just fish for an hour.
Rookie hours. I think I spent like a solid probably like 40 hours of my life just fucking fishing in the Whaling Caverns as like a 5-year-old, and I made a lot of money for him, but.
It's fun, man.
Yeah, so I just did a ton of that, and then I got my own account and played non-stop until Kada, and then I quit after Kada.
That's awful.
No, I like WoW. I just got very burnt out.
I just feel sad for you that your brother abused you in such a way.
Well, what can I say? We're a very evil family. It like runs in the family. I take chase. He what do you even call it? He practices slavery, child slavery. It's just it's basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Child labor, I guess, but slavery is fine too. If you, I guess you didn't get paid, so it was slavery.
Yeah, it's just like, you know. I jokingly say there's no escape when I take chase. Well, there was no escape when I did that because I wanted his attention, and then you have no escape. I was in a tech chase situation. I was corner looped. That's where I got it from. I practiced tech chasing
because your brother abused you as a child.
Yes, it's payback. Like I just do it to other people to make them experience what I experienced.
I'm very happy that this was a stream where we finally did psychoanalysis.
Oh.
Finally, my interviews have gone into full psychoanalysis territory.
Yeah, we're real Freudian hours.
Next stream I'll be talking about how my next guest only plays melee because his father, he lusts for his father.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm happy to kickstart your career as
Smash psychoanalyst.
Yes.
Yes, that's good. No, actually, thanks for all the kind words in the chat. Much love to you all. We're doing this thing now, and I'm going to actually get back to asking things about melee and shit, rather than talking about WoW Classic.
But why?
And
WoW Classic is just a better game. We all know this.
Just so I have a actual consistent thing in
Okay,
YouTube
that's
video,
fair.
rather than just like.
That's fair. Okay, we can go back.
Sorry, we can talk, but we can have a post pod. We can have a chill stream session where we just hang out. But I've just a few more questions I want to ask you.
Yeah.
One of them being related to this tangent we went on. You've been streaming for quite a while.
Yeah.
Tell me, when was your first stream, and how have you experienced streaming as a whole?
My first stream was back in 2018. I'd actually, for those who don't know, I'm diagnosed with ADHD and atypical Asperger's, which is just, which means I have none of the symptoms except I'm hypersensitive to light and sound.
Atypical Asperger's is the most autism. I mean, is the most nonsense autism diagnosis there is, because it could be
literally anything.
It's steady anything.
It literally means you have some of the things, but not all of them. So we just you need essentially what it is you clearly require the. You clearly suffer from some things that are like debilitating. That
on the spectrum.
Yeah. So you need help for some of these things, but if you don't have the diagnosis, you can't just go, hey, I'm really sensitive to light and sound, can someone help me? Well, if you have it, they can just go, oh yeah, we are legally required to help you with this, which is very nice. So what happened was, in 2018, I had to move out, and I ended up moving multiple times like that year. So I ended up flunking out of school, and at that point I was like, okay, the fuck do I do with my time? I can't get myself to study. I'm pretty decently depressed. Melee is going well. Well, I like talking. I like doing stuff like that. I like improving. Melee is the main thing I've got going on. I'll try out streaming. So I got like some basic ass equipment, like fucking $20 webcam, a like a $40 microphone, and went to town. And it wasn't very good in my opinion. I don't know if it's yet anyways, like maybe people like it, but I can't gauge like my own quality. But I did that for a while, and then I realized, God, streaming is stressful. And I took a bit of a break when I moved multiple times, and then I realized the reason it was stressful was because I had like my lighting. I had like the brightest setup you've ever seen, and I was like, this is awful. Of course I get a headache and I get tired. And then I recently
switched it up to be a bit more.
Yeah, it's super like low light, and now it's just a lot more chill and enjoyable. And now I'm back at it. So yes, I've enjoyed streaming, but I definitely do struggle with like the energy levels. Less so now, but it's been like an on and off thing. It's very rewarding to stream though. It's kind of toxic, but it's also rewarding because what I ended up doing the first few years was I was so concerned with like the fucking view counter that I whenever I did something that didn't like up that number, like I saw it decrease, I was just like, is the content not good? Should I be doing something different? And it was really draining to like fixate on that instead of the games, and I became like way more salty. One of my most famous clips is when I play Mai the first time, and I just go off on him, and I basically did some introspection. Then I was like, wait, I don't want to be
this guy.
I don't want to be the salt guy. Like there's no reason for me. He hasn't done anything wrong. I'm attacking him for playing well, you know, and I'm just like projecting my own insecurities and stuff to him. So I took a break, sorted out my diagnosis, medication, all that, and now I'm way less salty, in a way better mood, and I have the energy to stream way more frequently.
Yeah. Do you have any goals in streaming?
Yes and no. It's sort of like I have goals in the form that it's something I do to... I've enjoyed so much support, and it's one of those things where I don't like doing it for a particular stretch goal, because what happens is I end up feeling way too much pressure, and since I flunked out of class, or like out of school, what ended up happening is I had to redo the last year of gymnasium, so I'm doing that at like half speed, and it really sucks to do that and like nothing else. So it's a really good way to keep yourself occupied.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, it can really suck to like feel compelled to stream instead of like what you're technically supposed to do. So I don't really have a big stream goal right now. I mostly have, I mostly just want to do it consistently to feel like I'm being productive, because I have the time, I have the energy, and it's just it's kind of a necessity if you want to do like Melee full time, which I would like to have the possibility. And it's also one of those things where during Corona especially, getting like social connections and feeling like you're socializing, hanging out with people, it just doesn't happen normally. While if you stream, you sort of get that, even if it's not exactly the same. So I started streaming again because I wanted to like occupy my time. I felt like I didn't really spend my time doing anything meaningful, so I started streaming again, and then I turned off the view counter, and my mental health got like 10 times better immediately. Yeah. And now I don't stream with a view counter for that reason. Yeah. And then I what's it called? I decided to not like super invest myself in growth or anything, and mostly just stream because I think it's fun, and then leave it at that. So that is why I'm doing it, and like it's been really good to me. And the fact that I needed to socialize and like feel like I'm not just sitting alone with my thoughts at hours on end infinitely, right? And streaming really helped with that before anything else. And then it just also ended up being really rewarding when you do a tournament, you end up winning, and it feels really good. And having people there and feeling like people care about your success, are invested in your success is a really good drug, as it turns out. Yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah.
But do you actually have like, because you mentioned a little bit talking around going full time in Smash. Do you actually have like a thoughts in your head about seriously doing it full time?
The way I look at it is the same way I look at like anything I do, which is I really struggle with stuff becoming like a drain to do, and then it's very important to me to be honest with myself and not expose myself to something I don't enjoy doing. So what ends up happening is like a good example is, do you know what Tyrol is?
Yeah.
So I've been getting into poker a little bit recently, and he talked about like his main thing, like when he decided to go full time in poker, because he's a very successful poker player, and his main thing was that he went and became successful with poker when he like, or he did it half time mostly, and said he'd go full time when he could do that and like guarantee an income without really having to like, you know, apply himself is the wrong word, but you don't have to stress that, oh, I'm missing a day. Like you don't have that insecurity. And I follow that. So I would only stream full time if I reached the point where doing so didn't add the extra element of stress, but was actually just like, if I decide to stream, I like automatically have enough to get by.
Yeah.
As soon as I reach that, that's when I go full time. Before then, I don't think it's either a rational or a like fun decision, because there's no point, because you're just stressing yourself out for no reason.
Yeah. But it still seems like that's the general path that you would most likely want to take in this particular situation if the opportunity were to arise.
Yes, because I really enjoy streaming. I think it's super enjoyable, and it's rewarding as well, because you see yourself get better in the game. It forces you to practice a bit, and it's also just like, before I started competing, I wanted to do like video essays on YouTube on like games I really enjoy, and the same stuff that, you know, Matthew Matosis, Joseph Anderson and stuff like that. And I didn't want to do like comedy. I think I just wanted to do like think about stuff and talk about stuff I enjoy. And then it turns out, wait, streaming lets you do that. Like that's a valuable skill to have.
Without having to edit and do all the...
Well, that too, but I do eventually want to do that too as well. It's just, it also just, that skill is valuable. And since that was like, before I even started competing, that was my main thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was really nice when I realized that, hey, I can do this, and I can do both skills at the same time. It just felt like a natural fit for me. Ooh, good fullback.
No, it makes sense. It's just that, like, I have yet to talk to a person. So you're the first guest. Well, it makes sense, I guess, because I've only had Stockholm players that has even mentioned going full time as a thought that they could or wanted to do.
So the reason for me is mostly that the main way you go full time in Melee is to, or in Smash in general, is to be a content creator. And I happen to really enjoy making content. It's way more rewarding to me than like studies or anything else, even if it doesn't give any monetary gain. So because of that, I wanna do it, even if I didn't get paid for it. And if I just happen to reach the spot where it just automatically lets me live, then I'll go full time, because I have no reason not to. So I'll finish my studies, and I probably like I don't have any like, I don't care about riches or stuff I want to get, or like status or anything like that. I don't really give a fuck about any of that. The only thing I want to do is just do stuff that makes me happy.
Yeah, and you find the process enjoyable.
Yeah, so if I'll probably live my life so that I can like stream and create content and compete. So I'll finish studies, and then I'll probably get like a not that taxing job that I can, you know, play Melee at the side. And then if that eventually like enables me to go full time, then that's what I will do. Simple as that. No, I knew that was happening.
Fucking nerd. Sorry. You lacked critical information.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to jump off, but when I did, I was like, yeah, I make it back here.
No, but I actually think it's fun that you actually mentioned that, because I don't think a lot of people would. I myself enjoy doing like streaming and stuff, as you can see by me doing these things, but I feel like to me it's a completely different, like I don't think I would ever want to actually make a career out of any of this, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like the process is too much of a, like the novelty of the and the enjoyment comes out of me doing it every once in a while when I feel like it, rather than feeling like I want to make this consistent. Because if I were to try to make it consistent, I remember I was doing like a little bit of a grind for trying to get partnered just for fun.
Yeah.
And I remember that felt way less fun to me than just putting on the stream whenever I felt like it for whatever reason.
Yes, so that's why I turned off the viewer counter, and why my mentality is I'll only even consider it once the way I enjoy doing it automatically fulfills the criteria that, you know, that I can like do it full time. Because for me, if I have to stress and change how I do something in order to like enable me to do it more, then that can very quickly lead to burnout. And it's the exact same thing you said, where it's just it's not worth ruining my enjoyment of it to just force it to happen. That's why I think the only way I'd go full time is if it's, I enjoy streaming a lot, so like I now I want to try out doing daily streams because I enjoy doing stuff, and so I say I do daily streams, and then eventually I have 150 subs or something like that, and then it's like okay, now I just keep doing this for a while, and it's probably not going to be enough to like it's just a little bit extra on the side. But then say that becomes like 1,000, and it's like okay, my schedule doesn't have to change in order for me to live, because like my baseline is so high that even if I don't start like treating it like an obligation, it's completely fine. But that is the end goal. For me, I hate the idea of doing something for something that I don't find fulfilling, that benefits other people that I don't care about. So like a normal career, it in general, that's not super appealing, because I don't think I'd enjoy being part of like the machinery. I'd enjoy the social aspect probably, but I don't think I'd actually like enjoy the grind, so to speak. So that's why this type, like streaming, is so good, because that is the one type of job where it's like, if I grind, it's rewarding because I'm doing it for myself, and because it benefits me, and I want to do it, right? So that is why I want to do it full time, because it's one of the few things where it's like, okay, sure, there's a ton of uncertainty, but when I realized I wasn't gonna work in our society just like, you know, doing the 9 to 5, like my brain doesn't work that way. I wasn't gonna find purpose in that, and my goal isn't to become super rich. If it's like stable, then it's a no-brainer, because I live my life doing the things I enjoy most and avoiding the things I don't want to do. So I thought a lot about it, but again, the most important part is just not making it into something I'll dislike, which I think is very easy to do. And that's why I turned off the viewer counter, and why I'll stream daily. And again, the same reason I play Melee. Like, I don't care about the result that much, I care about playing good Melee. I care about having a stream I thought was good, and I care about, maybe not every stream has to be like high energy, and I have a theme, but every stream has to not make it feel like I'm, you know, what's it called, phoning it in, as it were, where you know you don't actually care about it, and that to me is completely counteracted to like going for partner or going for a certain sub number, because at that point it's like you're incentivized to phone it in because you want more hours and you wanna you might like do content you wouldn't normally do just because it generates more exposure, and it's like the HBox thing where he like super pops off. I don't think that started as like a default thing he did. I think that was mostly this is really good like publicity. It's really everyone loves when they do it. Exactly, it's content. And I just said I don't want to do stuff for content that way unless it's content I would want to watch. So yes, that's why I'm not going like for partner that way.
I want to ask you a completely separate question. What is your favorite Smash memory?
That's a good one.
And then this does not have to be game related. This can be something that you've just done with Smashers. It could be something you've done in your childhood
because
with
of
Smash.
Community or whatever. It's actually, funnily enough, an extremely easy question. It was going to Summit with Crescent. It was completely unexpected, and for me, I was a little bit sad because I took the role of a coach super seriously, and most didn't. You were essentially just like the +1, right? You just go and
hang out and play games.
And I took that very seriously, and Crescent was understandably very stressed, right? So I actually didn't have that much opportunity to coach. However, outside of that, it's very rewarding to learn that the players are human too. Like there were very few people who like treated you weird because you weren't like well known, and I met a ton of cool people. I got to hang out with Crescent. I also got to see that the way I like play the game is actually fine, because I'd gone to the US once before, and that was for Genesis 5, and I did so badly there. I thought I was like really bad at the game, and then I went to Summit, and even like being not a lot on the box, and I could still like play pretty much anyone there and take games, or like at least go last stock every time. Like I played Plop, and I'd been like less than a month on the box, and I didn't win that many games, but I definitely could compete, and I instantly saw like, okay, so even though Leffen always talks about how shit Europe is, me and Prison can still compete with the like ranked 30 players here. And if I was on the box for if the current me played most of those people there, I think there's a good chance I'd be going like even or winning. Probably not against like Mango, but against like Shroomed. There's a whole tier there where I was like not expecting it. So it was super rewarding for that reason, and then also just the fact that I was like, I went to Norway to hang out with Crescent, then I went to the US, and it was just a super fun like experience where we hung out a lot, and it was I didn't have to do a lot. It wasn't very stressful for me, while it's essentially just like a Smash vacation where I got to see like what the end goal was, where for a lot of people, or like even me, if you haven't been there, it's very hard to explain what it's like. And I always like, you know, one day I'll probably be good enough that I might get invited, but if you live in Europe and you play the same people every month, every week at like, you know, I play tournaments now, but at big events, it's very hard to know like what to expect and what you're actually working to. While this was both, I got to see what like the general level was, but also what kind of experience the prestigious invitational events are, and that was super fun.
I feel like Leffen talking about how shit Europe is also gives a skewed vision of how good other people are.
Yes.
Because it's so fucking weird that like he can talk shit about Europe for months and years, and then Prison goes to Summit once and beats Shroom. Then it's like, okay, well Shroom, what is he like? Top 30 in the world?
Yeah.
And he just beats him. And who is Europe? What is Europe then? Okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, and of course Prison is one of our, if not our best player, blah blah blah. But still, if our region is so shit, we should not have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. It's the big thing is just that when he talks about US players, he's talking about the top like 20. Like he's talking about playing with None and playing with Wistro and having that practice. And he's like, Europe is so shit compared to that. It's very hard to get a perspective of that. I think the big thing for me was just that I saw how like Sechi went to the US and like destroyed so many good people.
Yeah.
And Shelley pointed out that Triff went to the US and beforehand she'd had like conversations with US players where she's like, Triff is really good. Like Triff might be the second best Peach after Lod. And I was like, no, he's not even top 100. Like he's really bad. And then he goes and gets ranked like 13th and then you're like, okay. The general level is way higher, and I think it's really fun. When I went there and I played, I'm not gonna name the names, but there were definitely a lot of players that I played, and I was like, wait, how are you ranked that high? Like I've definitely played harder people in Europe of the same character, and at that point I was like, oh, okay, so if you're ranked and we aren't ranked, then that probably has less to do with our skill than just the fact that we don't travel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think like if I had to gauge myself right now, I'd say I'm probably around the top 30 player-ish. It's just hard to say because I actually have to travel there and I don't know how they've improved. But there's so many things where it's like you see it on screen like this is really bad. What are you doing? Yeah. But you don't know in your head if they're good in other ways to compensate. Yeah. Because I felt for me, I actually watch Plop and IBW play. They upload like stream highlights, right? And they don't tech chase at all. And I see them like they get 700 openings and 700 punishes and they don't kill. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, what are you doing? And before I went to Summit, I'd go like, okay, I can't judge. I haven't played these people. I can't like have an opinion here. But now I feel completely justified going, just do the right thing. What are you doing? Like I feel like I got a sense of legitimacy for my own style.
We also got the best thing out of Summit, Prisen saying brult in the skit.
It's now like a real US meme. Like
that's good. It's great.
I agree. My favorite Discord, you might not be in it, I don't know, but my absolute...
Is it Fox and Illuminati Discord?
No, it's not actually.
Okay.
My absolute favorite Discord is the Melee Stats Discord.
I might be in it.
So,
I don't know.
So the Melee Stats Discord, they got a Brawl emote. They didn't get one, they got 3 Brawl emotes. And it's like, it's the BRU, and then it's the U, and you can like extend it however long you want. And then there's the LT at the end. And it's so funny to me that these people had never heard the word. And now if I name search it, it's like a solid like 1,000 hits or something. And I'm like, huh. This is really funny to me.
Yeah. What was the difference you felt between going to the US? Because you mentioned there was a huge difference between your first Genesis trip and your Summit trip.
So, first thing was that I'd gotten better. Second thing is it turned out at Genesis that my controller was broken. And I didn't realize this. I thought I just sucked. That was actually not the case.
What was your problem with the controller?
It
fucking just destroyed you.
No, he just does that.
I know. He's been doing that for half an hour. But
yeah, that's the first time.
You finally did it.
Yeah, you're right.
You finally did it.
So now I'm gonna beat him up.
You do it back.
Yeah,
do it back.
Actually, no, I don't even know how to do it. I can do F2.
Yeah. Sorry. The difference between
so I had a broken controller. I didn't realize this. This is actually what made me so mad. You know the streak where I traveled around Europe? Not only was I trying new medicine, like ADHD medication, I was also using a faulty controller, and it was really funny because I figured this out at air, and then I tried like a ton of different controllers, and mine just could not like dash back, even like with UCF. Like it was so bad that even on UCF I couldn't dash back.
So that's bad.
So I picked up like any other controller, and I could instantly tech chase like 100% reliably, and I could dash back. And I looked back on my Genesis VOD, and I distinctly remember the shield drop notch stopping working, and there was no UCF there at Genesis 5.
Wow.
The shield drop notch stopped working, you can't shield drop.
Yeah.
And I also couldn't dash out of crouch.
Yeah.
So I lost, and I just felt shit. And then I go to Summit, and I'm on the box, and I haven't even played for that long, but I'm on the box.
UCF doesn't matter on box.
No, it doesn't. But Summit had UCF, so that was no problem. It's that I played with a functioning controller. I've only been on it for like a month, and I take games from like West Balls, from Sue, from not hacks because we only played Infinite Battlefield, Infinite Stocks. But
and then go blood on your hands.
Yes. So I take games from all these people, right? And I just go, wait a second. No, never mind. I'm not bad. I'm actually pretty good. And then I was like, oh, okay. So before then I was kind of like defeatist about like how good Europe was, because the only one who really performed that well at Genesis 5 was Sechi. And I didn't know if that was Sechi being amazing or, you know, Rest getting unlucky brackets or anything. And now I'm just like, no, I just played bad at that tournament. So that's the difference, having a functioning controller.
Yeah. And having gotten better.
Yeah.
But Summit Invitational, the air around it, because you've been to Newt. And I wanted to ask you, as a player who has been to the best Swedish event, in my opinion, what was it like compared to Summit? Because I feel like both are, in a sense, kind of like
the same type of event.
Not. Of course not, because there's like a tournament type setting with Summit, and like there's all this production shit. But what I mean is like there's an air of Smashers going there just hanging out, which is kind of new. Which I don't feel like you get in the same respect in other majors.
I'll say I think Summit for me is way better because it was all, what's it called, like it's one facility. Everyone is pretty like gathered up, but there's just enough space and like resting areas where you can just like go to relax. While and it's like the actual stuff you do, it's all so like perfectly set up. So one thing was just like food and shit, you didn't have to worry about that because it was just like that's just a part of the experience that you all get food at the same time, the staff handles that. And then it's like all the melee setups are where everyone else is just vibing. So like you have TVs, couches, and that's right next to all the friendly setups and the practice setups. So if you want to go and like fucking watch something on the big monitor or play ping pong or anything, you're in the same room as everyone else is practicing. So the disconnect between that was way smaller than with Mute, where I felt like if you wanted to go relax, you had to like distance yourself from everyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
So I strongly preferred the way.
I guess Summit is a bit more well adapted to people who are a bit more like socially introverted or a little bit more like need to have like breaks and shit like that.
Yeah, it's also, even if you don't, it's just like you can. I saw people like they'd go play melee and then they'd go, wanna play some poker, and then you just instantly, you don't have to move anywhere, you're like in the room, like, anyone want to play poker, and you just have a full group immediately. And it's like there's no, okay, so where is Deity, where is Humpe, where are all these people? There's none of that, there's only okay, Phantom, that's very kind. So that was huge for me, that you just like people just like hung out in the same area. So I prefer it.
What was the experience like? As you said, you stressed out a bit about being a coach. What was it like trying to coach someone at an event like that?
It was pretty good because you. The big thing for me was just like doing the basics, like, okay, take care of your health, right? Like, have you eaten anything? Do you want me to get you food? Do you want me to get you a drink? Do you want me to do any of that? Like, take care of your needs, so he doesn't have to think about it. And then also, like, do you want me to ask a specific character, or like a main or specific character for practice and like stuff like that? And all that stuff went pretty much exactly how I'd expect, which was really nice. The biggest thing was just that there was so much like game, and I didn't. Prison is the exact same as me in that respect, where we both we kind of wanna win in a non-cheese way, right? So both of us kind of dislike coaching as a concept. That's why I mostly did, take care of his health, make sure that that's fine, because he didn't really want any like game advice. He'd rather just,
figure that out himself.
Yeah, and if he loses, then he loses, which I respect.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And you thought that the experience of doing outside of game coaching was okay.
Yeah, it was fun. It was exactly what I expected.
It's more like a player-manager kind of role in a sense.
Yes.
I guess. But yeah, I get what you mean. Who's your best friend at Summit outside of Present? Who's your funniest person to hang out with? Reward.
I really liked hanging out with Ipingu, if you know what that is.
Yeah. He talks a lot about Yoshi. Did you know?
I did. So I really liked hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Dark Genix is also nice. In general, though, I didn't really hang out like that much with any particular person, but like talking to all the top players was fun. Like Ipengu, Hax was fun to talk to there, and Plup was fun to talk to.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people who I just like enjoyed being around there. I think they're all kind of like, we have so much in common, and we all have a somewhat similar mentality. So it's just like every single person I interacted with was just a blast to talk to. Also, I really enjoyed talking with Ragtime Mouse, if you know what that is. She's pretty great.
I think she streams, right?
Yes. She's also what's it called? The most like high energy person I've been around in a long time. But she does it in a really nice way, where I can usually get like run out of energy. And sometimes when you have someone who's like super high energy all the time, it's really draining to be around. But she's very like particular about making sure that people are having a good time. And I just really like that. So I met some really cool people there that I would now consider friends.
That's super fun. So you really want to go back, I guess, in the future. But the original question I asked you was, what was your favorite moment
at Summit?
Smash memory?
No, I did say that.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I said going to Summit with Prison.
Yes. But I feel like that's like a... you did answer my question. I just wanted to specify that. I want to ask you, what is your favorite specific moment? I'm sorry, that's our timer for the coffee mate.
Oh, okay. Favorite specific moment? Probably either the first time, I think it was maybe when I beat Monio at Ascension, because it was the first time I like competed super seriously, and that was the moment I said I really enjoy doing this. I want to do this more, and that was when I basically decided to compete seriously. And so either that, or it was beating Ice at Super Bowl, because that was another time when the weird up and coming Fox main versus second best Fox in Europe for ages. There's no competition, and getting that upset felt super rewarding because Leffen, everyone is bad, and all that. And then it's also, I also beat Joy Boy. That was super fun because if I had to point out not what my most fun moment was, but my most exhilarating moment, it was definitely when I beat Joy Boy, because it was last hit, game 5, and I I was down like 3 stocks and did a 3 stock comeback with like 100% to win game 5. And he was seated like 5th. Like he's top 50 if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So the fact that I played him and I could instantly see that, oh, okay, he's good, and then I still like held it together. That was so rewarding. So both of the moments at Super Bowl were my favorites.
As a player who's been to many majors, what makes a good major for Pipsqueak specifically? Or rather a tournament experience, I guess.
Yeah, generally not too, too far away between like hotel room and like practice area. I really dislike when I have like a fucking 10-minute walk if I want to go and relax. And it's either you play all the time or you like aren't even like close. So I really appreciate having like maybe a 5-minute walk, you know, tops from like where I'm relaxing to where I want to go play. So I like can easily go from one to the other. And having just like friendly setups, it's so annoying when I feel like I have to top player privilege my way into setups when that should just be default. So that was a big thing for me. Just air was really good for that because I didn't live that close by, but the entire thing was like set up so that you could go and relax whenever you wanted really fast. I forgot how I ledge dash. So I really enjoyed that. That's probably my favorite tournament experience.
I think I've asked like every question I wanted to ask and more except like one.
Okay.
Which is, so I think we're going to start moving toward wrapping this up.
Yeah.
By the way, at the end of the whatever show, at the end of the episode, I always do a set with the player that's been playing. So we'll do that after. But first, I'll ask you 2 things. The first being, what is your next goal in Melee or in life as a whole? It could be Melee related, it could be not Melee related, because some people, they come here and they say, I don't really care about Melee right now, and then they give me another goal. But I just want to know where Pipsqueak as a person is at, and you share whatever you feel like you want to share.
So my goal right now is I really want to I want to go to the US because I want a trip there before Corona. So this goal is going to take a bit because I don't want to go until it's safe, right?
Yeah.
But I really want to go to the US and prove how much I've improved, or like, you know, play all these people again and see the fruits of your labor really with new people. That's like my main thing, and I guess getting like the top 50 rank would be a part of that, or top 100. But I mostly just want to like go there and prove that what I'm doing works against like everyone.
Yeah.
And then I really want to find a balance where I feel like I can study, I can stream, I can compete, I can do stuff I find like interesting and rewarding. I want to still make videos. It's very hard to do that while you're also streaming, also competing, also studying, and it's like all of this at the same time. And I really want to get to the point where I feel like I find a perfect balance between all of them. And I guess that's my main goal right now, in that I'm doing daily streams, but I'm doing them shorter because I want to do stuff, but I don't want to tire myself up. So my main goal is to show the world that what I'm doing works, not just against Europeans, but against US players as well. And then the other one is just like find a good balance where I feel like I get to do stuff I find fun consistently without like tiring myself up too much.
Makes sense. That's a good answer. The last
question was just, or it's not really a question, it's if you have anything you want to plug, or if you have anything you want to say, you can go ahead and say it now.
I do not really. I mean, I stream, but I don't feel like I have to plug that because
No.
I don't. If you want to come and say hi, then say hi. That's pretty much all I care about there.
I feel like everyone who's watching this stream knows about your stream.
Yeah, most likely. So it feels pretty dumb. I want to plug, you know, Leffen's controller layout and
the box,
the bloodied hands, you know, all that. So if you
the bloodied hand gangs.
Yeah. If you wanna bloody your hands, then you know, buy a box type controller and bloody and you know, cut it up real quick. It's like the easiest thing in the world. Adventure's the wrong one. It's versus. So okay.
Crash.
Nice.
Wait, it didn't crash.
No, okay. I have no idea what happened.
No idea.
Okay. So yeah, no.
You can
that's
start
it.
spanning.
Okay.
Shit about this.
Fuck Battlefield.
Yeah. That's sad.
This is why Hax hates me. You know, he said I'm Leffen's bitch. It was actually not about the controller. It was actually Battlefield. That I am not on the Battlefield gang.
Fuck this stadium.
GG's, Murin. That was good games.
Fuck, dude, you played for like hours. Fuck this guy right here.
Okay, so we go Yoshi's.
Yeah.
Your home power. Ooh. Shit fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck you, Shy Guy. Fuck you, Rambo. There we go. I got my ledge dash. Thank you. I just need to wait out the interferences. I always F-tilt. The hour or so I spent playing Yoshi, I spent figuring out how to tech chase properly, and I just F-tilt, regular get up, and taking place, and then grab the tech rolls.
Yeah, it's true. I just can't do it on reaction yet, so I read.
That's
But it's done. I should just try.
Well, you did grab out of shield on reaction. That's why I said it.
No, I wasn't even on reaction. I was trying to read get up attack, so
I
I wasn't
see.
even reacting. I was just being dumb.
Thank you, Shy Guy. Bonk.
And I followed you, so.
Oh, that was good. Bonk. Curious.
Oh, is this the stage?
I'm down to do it, but no. That's
You're
not
in
the stage.
unranked mode right now.
But I forgot you can pick stages.
No, my tech.
I'm going straight.
Yeah. No!
The slight angle. No plan. That was not the plan.
Oh, I missed.
I don't even know if you could follow that.
I could if I wave landed, I think.
Can you like get out of here?
I will never get out.
No, just let me out. Just get out. Let me stay on stage. Also missed it. Whatever, it worked out. Oh. Oh.
Ah, I missed my turn. I don't think it would work.
I don't think so either. Nice idea, almost got the sweet spot.
Very close.
I will refrain from ledge dashing. Or will I? This is the mix-up. When your ledge dash is so bad that the correct answer might be to stop ledge dashing, but you keep doing it anyways. You won't expect it.
I never expect anything.
Sun Tzu's Art of War.
I make art out of war.
How does that work?
Blah. That's how it works. I just make sounds.
Ooh. Fair enough. Can you stop holding down?
No. No, you hold down! You were the one who held down!
I was the one who held down. It's an exclusive technique to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, it is. I don't like when other people hold down. I just want to hold down. Bonk. Bonk. I tried to take on the top lap. Bonk. No, I'm the one who holds down. No. What have I done to deserve this? I thought we were friends. home.
Yoshi does not know friendship. Only eggs.
I thought you were gonna say like agony, but I mean eggs works as well.
Eggs.
Okay.
Oh, I just shit in bed.
No, that's crazy. No,
I shouldn't have rolled.
you do what you want, what you think feels best, what your little Yoshi heart desires.
He just held down. He's the down holder. I thought I was a down holder.
I invented the art of holding down. You merely copied it. Oh no! I want to kill you off the top. No! Okay, I held down on that up there. I didn't think that was gonna combo like that, but whatever, fine.
It was a very free reaction as well.
Yeah, because you still get the hit stun.
Yeah. Hit me. Stop trying to hit me and hit me. No. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm alive.
There we go. And then I fuck up, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. GG's, Pipsqueaks.
GG's.
Thank you for coming to the Player Spotlight episode. What is it, 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to, rant. This is what I do on my stream, except now I don't have to. Tell my chat I'm sorry for just, saying random shit. I don't have to apologize. This is perfect. This is just an excuse to do what I always do.
This time you can be toxic without anybody calling you out.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you're not accountable. It's my stream.
Yeah,
I'm the
exactly.
responsible
Yeah,
one.
yeah. This is the other side of Pipsqueak. Actually, that's not true. If you watch my stream at all, you know I Pipsqueak 2, who I always just shit talk on my stream. I just go, fuck, Pipsqueak, what are you doing, Pipsqueak? I know Pipsqueak. I'm better than that. I was like, I love doing that. I hold this interview in my head.
You have a voice 1 and voice 2 dialogue with yourself.
Yes, and voice 1 is always the bad one, and voice 2 is always the hyper competent, perfect one. And it's a very healthy relationship where the correct one always wins, and the other guy just constantly gets shat on.
That's good.
Yeah, that's what a relationship is supposed to look like.
Alright, well, I'm going to end the stream now, people. But thanks for coming, everyone.
It has been fun.
Yeah. This will be on YouTube later also. So if you only saw parts of it but don't want to see the entire thing, then check out my YouTube channel.
You should probably name that to Riga, honestly. Riga vs. BM, because it's very hard to find your real name on YouTube.
It's true. It's true. I don't know how to change the name of my YouTube, but I could do that.
It doesn't take like a minute or two.
Okay.
It's like a Google account thing. You have a YouTube setting there.
I should do that. Alright, well, I'm out of here, guys. See you next time, I guess. Or if I stream a tournament or something. Bye.